But it came out in this exercise that I did that I still don't feel like I can fully trust my own intuition. And that hurt me. It hurt me to feel that I can be so intentional. I can embrace so many of these principles, but that I just can't trust my intuition. I did not like that at all. So I started to think about, how do I release that? Like, how do I step into a version of myself that can trust her intuition? And that, my friend, is what led me to the theme of this month of February. For me and for the Bliss and Up Collective, the theme for February is, drumroll please, hey, listener, welcome to episode number 92 of Bliss and Up. So today is February 1st. Welcome to February, a new month in 2026. We have officially finished our first month of 2026 together, and it is an honor to be here with you today to welcome another month. So if you've been here a while, then you know that I dedicate either the last Sunday of the month or the first Sunday of the month to the Live with Intention framework. And I do this very mindfully and intentionally because one of my goals is to help you develop a rhythm of intention in your life. The Live with Intention framework is 3 parts. We notice what worked, what hasn't worked in our past. So we take a moment to reflect. Then we name the current month. We name the energy we're in. So we take a moment to decide, and then we nurture. And nurture is our opportunity to take action and actually implement the choices, the thoughts, the habits, and the lifestyle that will lead us in the direction of the theme that we have named for the month. And I do this every single month. I have created a lifestyle and a rhythm of living with intention. And the process is life changing. When you actually implement it and you're mindful about it, it just continues to bring you back to the present moment. It continues to bring you back into alignment. And I love doing that with you here on the podcast. So every month, I like to name the theme of the month with you here in the podcast, and you have a choice. The choice is to adopt the theme that I have named for the collective and enjoy it with me and help and nurture it throughout the rest of the month, or choose your own month if you're in a different season or if you're feeling a different way than I'm expressing on the podcast. There are no rules, just rhythms. So you get to make your own rules. But if you love listening to the theme that I choose and you feel aligned and in sync and it resonates with you, then it just helps you along in the process and makes it a little easier to adopt a theme, like if you're not 100% sure. So that's why I love doing this with you. And also, I want to invite you, if you love this podcast, if you've been here for a long time, or if you've just got here and you're very curious about how this works, I want to invite you to join me in my new group program called The Well. I say it's new because I just started it 6 months ago. We are now just wrapping up our first 6-month cohort, and it has been such an incredible circle, such a good container for people to come and dive deeper into the frameworks that I teach, get coached, success file, share their themes, adopt new themes, come with their problems, come with their successes, come with their concerns, and just live this life of intention, supported, being held accountable, and in community. So if you haven't heard about my group program, I'll put the link in the show notes. I've opened registration. It is a year membership. We meet weekly and we help you do this work. The reason that I have named it The Well is because one of the things I learned from this first cohort is that this is really a place that you come to nourish your mind and your soul on a weekly basis. And you come when it works for you. So when you need to drink from the well, when you are thirsty for tools, for inspiration, for support, for community, for a nugget of wisdom, you come and you enjoy and you participate. And then when you're busy and you can't join because life is chaotic and you just can't make it, then you don't join. And there's no FOMO, there's no judgment. It is not a course that if you don't make it one week, you're going to miss out on. It's really meant to be a source of replenishment, a place where you come, you reset, you regroup, you get grounded for the week, and you go off into your life to nurture a life of intention. So I would love for you to join us there. Okay, so today we're going to notice what January brought to us, what it held for us. What did it teach us this month? We are going to name February, and we are going to prepare to nurture our intentions in the upcoming month. So I don't know about you, but January for me was a just January. And I named it that because I wanted to kind of glide into the month, slide into the month, making certain tweaks and adjustments. I didn't want anything crazy. For me, January is a time to kind of get grounded, do foundational work. I love things like clearing out the house and getting rid of all the Christmas things and, bringing the house back into its minimalist state. I like to get super organized. I like to get back into the routine. Usually in January, I've come back from some traveling. So I like that feeling of being home. And for me, it's just about making little tiny adjustments as opposed to like a kickstart or a jumpstart into a new life kind of thing. I've done that before, and I don't know, it's not my jam, or it hasn't been the last few years. Maybe one January will be, but not yet, right? Or not this year is what I can say, not this year. So I dedicated this month to making certain adjustments. I'm going to quickly run through what January has meant for me and some of the adjustments that I have made. I will say that when I first got ready to do this podcast, my initial thought was like, I didn't make nearly the amount of adjustments that I wanted to make in this month because sometimes when you think about a theme, you think very big picture and you want to adjust everything. You want to change everything. You want to conquer everything at once. And I always have to remind myself that Rome wasn't built in a day. So if I made an adjustment, one or two, that is enough. But you tend to want to adjust everything, and then whatever it is that your theme is, even if it's like jumpstart, you want to jumpstart in every way. And then you find that if you fell behind in one area or you didn't tackle something, or you overlooked something, or, some things didn't change from the last month, you could be really hard on yourself. So I kind of went through that when I was looking at Adjust January. And then I sat down with my calendar and I browsed through the things that I had implemented this month. And I noticed that I did make some significant adjustments. It's just the overachiever in me wants to make all of the adjustments. So this month in particular, I made a couple. The first adjustment that I made was tracking data. Back in 2025, I've always tracked my numbers, like if I have my phone and when I was training for a marathon, I would map my run and I would track my miles. Then I got an Apple Watch and I would track my workouts and my walking sessions and all that kind of stuff. And that was great. I had a Whoop for a while and I was tracking my sleep and other things. But I stopped using the Whoop for some reason. And then this is the silliest thing, but I lost, or I thought I had lost my Apple charger. And instead of just ordering another one on Amazon, which would take 2 minutes, I procrastinated on that and I stopped wearing my Apple Watch forever just because I couldn't find the charger. Then eventually I found the charger, but I was already out of the habit of wearing the watch. So I didn't track anything in 2025. And at the end of 2025, I really longed to start tracking my data again. I went and I did my labs. I felt like I needed a little bit of more accountability with tracking stuff. So I asked for an Aura ring for Christmas, and my husband obliged and got me an Aura ring. I was very excited about it. And I started using it, and I'm like so excited because the longer you wear it, the more data it reveals about your life. So I'm like, every day I check it and I'm all excited about tracking my sleep efficiency, my heart rate variability, all that kind of stuff. And I've now resumed wearing my Apple Watch. And I'm also keeping track of my food on ChatGPT. I've created a ChatGPT accountability buddy, and I've been logging my food so that I can notice patterns and notice little tweaks and adjustments that I can make to my diet to optimize my health in 2026. And it's been working beautifully. That I've enjoyed all of that so much. So that's been one adjustment that I've made. Another adjustment is that I've been really focused on meditation this month, which has been an eternal goal for me. I've always wanted to do meditation, and I do it on and off. But I haven't really stepped into like the identity of somebody who meditates. So I joined a program, and it has like a course on mindfulness and meditation, and I have been following it and meditating in the morning and at night. So that's been really exciting. And then the last adjustment that I made is I have, and this has been slow, a very slow process, but I've been doing it. I have started to work ahead. I'm trying to get ahead in my life, work ahead on my podcast, work ahead on my business, work ahead on my travel plans. I have lived in the present moment always, and I have done podcasts about this in the past of how I've struggled between living in the future and living in the present, planning for the future and living in the present, and how that's been a little tough for me to do. But, through Jesse Itzler's work and the big ass calendar, and just knowing that my kids are growing and my season is changing, I just feel like I'm ready. Like it's time. It's time to step into the identity of somebody who plans ahead. Even if I'm spontaneous, even if I leave spaciousness for creativity and for surprises, I want to claim that identity of somebody who plans ahead. So I've been working on that. And I'm so excited. I have my assistant, Fran, and my former assistant who's still kind of like my assistant because she's my best friend in the world and she's always with me regardless of whether she's my assistant or not, Frances. So I've got Fran and Frances, and they are like my dream team. Like they help me so much. And then I have Daisy, who's also, she's my virtual assistant. She's on my team. So I just have these people that are really supporting me in getting ahead and helping me figure that out, because I believe that that is the next level of excellence for me, is to be a person who can get ahead and plan ahead. In fact, I was at Lewis Howe's Summit of Greatness in September of 2025, and he too was using the big ass calendar, and he shared on the screen his big ass calendar, and I noticed that on his calendar on certain dates, what it would say on those dates was get ahead, like get ahead on the podcast, get ahead on interviews. I'd never looked at it that way, and I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like he plans to get ahead. So that really inspired me, and that's an adjustment I've been trying to make. So I'm working on it little by little, but I am working on it and I'm improving, and I'm really excited about that. So that has been the adjustments that I made in January. And of course, the question that I have for you is always, what did you nurture this month? What did you notice? What worked for you? What are your successes? What were your wins? What are the things that you did do, even if they weren't perfect? But I want you to notice for yourself, what adjustments did you make in your month? Or if your theme was something different, how did you nurture that theme for your month? Now, the second part of the notice framework is also, what didn't work this month? Or what do you want to release as a result of this month? What did you notice that you don't want to carry forward into the next month? And that has actually been the thing that sparked the theme for February, which I'm so excited to share with you. And it all started at the miracle retreat of my dear friend, Betsy Guerra. So, Betsy Guerra has a life coaching certification. And I've been a life coach for the last 6 years, and I've been working with Betsy closely for a long time, but I'd never actually gone through her program. And I wanted to get certified in her program. She has a very comprehensive program where she teaches psychology and spirituality, and it's a psycho spiritual approach. And she basically gives you PhD level of education in the work that she does. And I hadn't carved out the space and the time to be able to do that program. And I was like, this is something that I want to conquer in 2025. So I did. I did the program in 2025 and I got certified through her, which was so exciting. And then one of the things that she offers her cohorts is a miracle retreat. So we attended the miracle retreat in January. And by the way, she's had 7 cohorts. I think she's about to start her 8th cohort. And I have worked every single one of her retreats. So this was the very first time that I had ever participated in the retreat as an attendee instead of a staff, of an employee. So it was very cool for me to attend the retreat. One of the exercises that she did, she brought this awesome woman. Her name was Carolina Novoa, and she works with energy and the body, and she's a health coach. And she does this exercise where she has it's like a motion test that shows you what your subconscious is thinking. I'm going to skip ahead all of the details to let you know that I volunteered for that exercise that she did, and I learned something about myself that I'm ready to let go of. I'm ready to release. And it was that my subconscious still struggles with trusting my intuition. Now, I have talked a lot about intuition. I interviewed my dear friend Nikki Novo on this podcast, who is the queen of intuition. I feel like I've been stepping into my intuition for a long time. I download my themes of the month, and I feel that that's me trusting my intuition. I feel connected to my intuition consciously. Like consciously, I feel like I understand that intention and intuition go hand in hand. So consciously, I thought that I had gotten to the place where I trust my intuition. But if you know a little bit about my history, I grew up with a lot of skepticism, which, by the way, I am grateful for because I think it's made me who I am today. And I question a lot of things. I consider myself a critical thinker. I've been someone who questions a lot. And although I love that part of myself because I think that it's helped me in everything in my life, it's what helped me become a lawyer and be a good lawyer. It helps me ask good questions. It's helped me be a good coach. It helps me with a lot of things in my life. But it came out in this exercise that I did that I still don't feel like I can fully trust my own intuition. And that hurt me. It hurt me to feel that I can be so intentional. I can embrace so many of these principles, but that I just can't trust my intuition. I did not like that at all. So I started to think about, how do I release that? Like, how do I step into a version of myself that can trust her intuition? And that, my friend, is what led me to the theme of this month of February. For me and for the Bliss and Up Collective, the theme for February is, drumroll please, faithful February. You see, I actually talked about this in a previous podcast. There's a podcast that it's called The Biggest Shift I've Made. And I talked about my journey with faith and with religion and with being agnostic and my journey in general with spirituality. And I talked about how one of the biggest shifts that I have made in my life is my dear friend Betsy, through my relationship with her, I learned that I could step into the identity of being a woman of faith, even if I wasn't a quote unquote religious person, or even if I was skeptical, or even if I questioned things, I could still operate from a place of faith. So, by Betsy giving me permission to be a woman of faith, it has opened up my world in many, 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 many ways. But when I had this experience of like, I can't trust my intuition, it reminded me that this journey is not a one and done. Like I talked about in wellness, wellness is not a New Year's resolution, it's a new life resolution. Well, faith is not a just I'm a woman of faith or I'm not a woman of faith. Faith is a verb, it's an action, it's a lifestyle, just like reflection is, just like intention is. So for February, I want to focus on asking myself the question and asking you the question: how would you show up in your life if you truly had faith? If you had faith in yourself, if you had faith in the process, if you had faith in your principles, if you had faith in a divine source, whether it be God or the universe, if you were truly a person operating from a place of faith, how would you show up? What would you do? What risks would you take? I think that's where I want to put my focus and my emphasis on February. I want to focus on my faith. And I believe that if I was truly a woman of faith, then I would have faith in my intuition. I would trust my intuition. And even though consciously I believe that I am, I believe that I'm a woman that trusts my intuition. I believe that I live by intuition. I believe that I believe in my principles. I mean, I live a life of believing life is rigged in my favor. I behave as if life is rigged in my favor. I behave as if I'm always in training for something bigger. There's so much of the faith that I've already claimed. And yet there's something deeper. And I haven't unlocked it yet. And if I had, then that wouldn't have come up. But I haven't. So I'm going to focus on that in February. And I am going to explore my faith, explore my faith in my intuition, and see where that leads me. So now I ask you, what are you going to carry into February? What are you going to release in February? What do you want to focus on? What do you want to nurture? Are you going to be nurturing your faith like me? If you are, welcome. I believe this is going to be a magical month for us. But if there's something else that you need to nurture, I'm here for that too. This is the kind of work that we do in the well or in one-on-one coaching. If you wanted to work with just me, there's a beauty of working in group as well. They both have their pros and cons. They're both good avenues, but this is the kind of work that I want to be doing. So that's what February is. I am looking forward to this month. I'm looking forward to seeing what will develop in the podcast in the next few weeks, like what themes will rise in me. Because if you've been here a while, you may have noticed sometimes I choose a theme with one intention and then new things come up that I wasn't even expecting, because these themes have a way of expanding and taking on new meaning in our lives. So I look forward to seeing what that's going to look like this month, but I'm also very excited and I'm very hopeful. My word for 2026 is excellence. So I'm looking at everything with the lens of coming from a place of excellence. And I believe that if I truly step into my faith, I will live with more excellence than I do now. So that's it. That's what we've got. Now it's time to go nurture. So I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what your theme is. If you are listening to this on Spotify, put a comment and let me know if you're adopting Faithful February or if your theme is something different for February. And if you're not, if you're listening somewhere else, like Apple Podcasts or something, then jump on Instagram and let me know what your theme is. I love to know where you are at in your journey and know that this work that we're doing is a collaboration of the souls and of our minds. It makes it so much more fun. All right. I hope you have a beautiful Sacred Sunday this February 1st of the year. And cheers to being a faithful February. See you next week. That's it for today's episode. Thanks so much for being here. I am deeply, deeply grateful to connect. If you're loving this podcast, I'd love if you'd follow, rate, or leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. Those reviews help us so, so much. And if you know of someone who could really use a voice like mine in their head, please share this episode with them. Now, if you're feeling called to keep the conversation going, come join us inside the Blissin' Up community on Facebook. It is a free space to reflect and root into intention together. You can find the link in the show notes or just search Blissin' Up with Caroline de Posada on Facebook. I'd love to welcome you in. Until next time, take care and keep noticing the sparks of bliss in your life.